Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well today. My name is Tomi and I'm back with a new video. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about my job testimony and how God blessed me with my dream job. So if you're interested, keep watching. So welcome back once again, you guys. I'm here with another testimony about how God blessed me with my dream job. I know that in my last video, in my last job testimony video, I gave a testimony that almost sounded brand new, and if you guys watch the video all the way to the end, you guys will know that that video was actually 2 years late. I had promised God in the summer of 2020, whenever I got the job that I was thanking God for back in that video, I had promised him that whenever I got that job that I would tell the whole world, and it took me 2 years to do so. And something in my spirit had told me that I needed to make that video. And once I made that video, you guys, my life changed. Like once I made that video and I uploaded it and I just put it into God's hands, my life changed. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys how God changed my life. If you guys would like to hear about that testimony specifically and how God blessed me, then definitely watch that video. I will link it down below and in the cards as well, so you guys can find it very easily. But I'm going to share with you guys this job testimony. So just to give you guys a little bit of background on my career, I do have a bachelor's in computer engineering and I have a master's in engineering management. I graduated with that in 2020. I had worked as a software engineer, a software test engineer, and a systems engineer. And I really did enjoy that, but I knew that my focus and where I was trying to go was more the business aspect, like just like project management, that aspect of just working in general. I had really been wanting to pivot out of engineering for a very, very long time. Before I left my first company and went to my second company, I had been trying to transition into that role, and it was very hard. I got the job as a systems engineer at that time, a senior systems engineer, and I decided, you know what, okay, let me transition over to the business side of things. I got my master's and everything, so it was time to start looking for a new job. So after I graduated in December of 2020, that was when I started looking for jobs. And you guys, it was a whirlwind. Like so many different emotions, so many different interviews. I did on and off periods of actively applying and interviewing because it was a lot. It was a lot. Like you guys, I did not get a job for almost a year and a half after I had started looking. I started applying before I actually graduated from my master's, but I wasn't able to get any positions. I was hoping that I would be able to get a position right after my master's. It didn't work for me. Almost 2 years, you guys, I had been actively applying for jobs. So like I said, I went on and off because at the time when I was looking for this job, I had gotten the last job that I talked about. Because I already had a job, it did make it a little bit easier for me to go on and off with my interviewing and application process. You guys, like I used so much vacation. I'm surprised, like whenever I did give my announcement to my team that I was leaving, I was surprised no one even thought about it. So how it would work was that I would schedule my interviews for the afternoon, and my work schedule was typically 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, and I had every other Friday off. My jobs have been pretty flexible to where like I was able to interview around my schedule without it being an issue and me still being able to get my work done. Just thought I'd put that disclaimer in there so that you guys don't think that I was slacking off. No, I definitely treated my job at the time as the reward that God had given me, and I wanted to be a very good steward of that position. And so I was not slacking off at that position. I was doing the best work. I would work 50, 60, 70 hour weeks to make sure that I met deadlines. Like there were days that I would work 15 hours, like, and I'm not talking about 15 hours from home. I'm like 15 hours in the office. Sun up to sundown. I would not see the sun. I was working my ass off with that job and also still applying at the same time. So whenever I got off of work, if I had a free moment, I'm putting in an application. Like literally during all my breaks, if there was an application I could put in on my phone, I would do it. If there was a call I could take during a break, I would take it. If there was an interview I had to do during a break, I would do it. I would go home and do my interviews at home, and I would come back to work. Like I was doing a lot. To talk about the interview process itself, because I've only been given a preamble, you guys, I applied to over 1,500 applications, and I guarantee you that it was probably over 2,000. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You guys have to think about this. Like, I was applying for almost 2 years. 1,500 to 2,000 applications in 2 years is not unheard of when you're really looking for a job. Okay, I was submitting my application to everything. Contract positions, full-time positions, part-time positions, anything that would get me into the door of that project management level. You guys, I had so many heartbreaks. If I were to guesstimate, right, I had over 100 interviews in 2 years. There were so many interviews that I got to the final stage of, and it was like, it really seemed like the person liked me and really like wanted to hire me, and it just like didn't work out. I cried so much because these companies were my dream companies. Look, I've always worked for my dream companies. Let me be real with you guys. Like, God has blessed me to where I've always worked for my dream companies. For me not to get into my dream company after applying so many times, getting to final interviews, getting to final decision stages, and it not working, you guys, it was stressful. It was an emotional battle. It was so much. It was just God. It was just God, you guys. So earlier I talked about how I made that job testimony video and the importance of it. Something in my spirit told me that that was the reason why I hadn't gotten a new job yet. That was the reason why I was struggling so hard, because I made a promise to God and I did not fulfill it. And I expected, oh, he don't care about that. He just gonna do it for me. He's just gonna do it for me. And honestly, like, God is a forgiving God, but if you're gonna make promises to people that you can see and keep them, keep the same energy for the person who made you, right? And I'm speaking to myself here. Like, I specifically do not make promises, do not promise to do favors, do not promise any of those sort of things if it's something that I cannot stick to. So why am I doing that with God? Why am I promising that I'm going to upload a job video? Excuse me? Running around like a rat. Why would I promise God that I would make a job video and then like not do it? It doesn't really make sense, does it? Once I uploaded that video, the blessings started pouring in. My life changed. And that's why it is so important that if you are going to give God your word, whether it is in a promise, whether it is in a vow, that you fulfill it, because he's going to, the same way that we can hold God accountable to his words in the Bible is the same way God holds us to our word. At least from my understanding and my experience, God held me to my word, because when it comes to jobs, me and God, we don't play. I never had a hard time looking for a job ever. Before this job, I never had a hard time looking for a job. I've always been very like timid about interviewing, because I don't really like interviewing. It's not really my strong suit, but I've never struggled for a job. This was the first time. I'm just gonna go into the actual interview, because I'm giving a whole bunch of stories. There were specific criteria that I gave God that I was looking for. There was a specific work-life balance that I was looking for. I wanted to work from home. Just some other things about the team dynamic and just things like that in general that I told God about that were really important to me and that I wanted to have in my next job. And honestly, I feel like the reason I never got any of those other jobs because they weren't really like what I wanted or what I asked for or what God knew I needed at the time. So maybe I didn't get into my dream company then because God just didn't, God was like, you know what, it's not time, but here you can build your skill here. I don't know. I was very detailed. I was very specific. I even wrote, like, I'm a very visual person. So I printed out like a faith sheet where I wrote like, I am a manager / project manager at X company doing this and that, managing this and that, everything. So I put that in my prayer list. I had it on my phone. I had pictures on my door, pictures on my bookshelf, like literally in places where I was always looking. That way I would always see it wherever I was to remind me to pray about it. I fasted and I prayed for so long. Like, I did on and off fastings. I fasted basically throughout the month of December 2021, and I really just denied myself a lot of things to show God that I was serious about what I was asking for and that I wasn't playing. I decided to really have a crazy faith attitude You know, Pastor Mike talks about crazy faith, and I decided to adopt that mentality. And honestly, God really showed out for me. The interview was so easy. It was so easy that I thought I didn't get the job. They're like, oh, have you done this before? How have you done this before? Like, it was very, very simple. It was supposed to be an hour interview. I think the interview was probably like 15 minutes. And then the rest of the interview, they were just talking. And literally, I spoke to my recruiter and they asked me like, how do you feel about the interview? And I was like, I don't think I got the job. I don't think I have the skill set for what they're looking for, and I feel like what they're doing is a lot more standardized than what I've done. And so honestly, I don't think I'm gonna. He asked me like on a scale of 0 to 10, where do I think I fit? I said 9 if I had the skill set, but honestly, I feel like they're probably gonna rate me a 6. I remember after the interview, I called my dad and I cried. I cried so hard, and I was just like, I don't know what's wrong. Am I never going to like get a job? Am I never going to succeed? Am I like, what's going on? Like, I just don't understand. I've never had this sort of difficulty before. My dad just really took the time to reaffirm my faith in God and just let me know that at the end of the day, men will catch up with men. God has done it for me before in various different ways. Just because he may not do it the same way as he did last time does not mean that he's not going to do it. I just need to have faith that God has already done it. Literally next day, I got the phone call. I got the phone call that I got the job. I was shook. I was shaking. I could not believe that was me, like that I had gotten the job. When I think back on it and how much faith I had at first and how little, God really showed out for me. God answers prayers, like he really truly does. All you have to do, and I don't want to make it seem easy, but literally all you have to do is have faith that God is going to do it. Like all these manifestations and affirmations and stuff like that, if you literally put God, literally not the term God, but actual God in his form, in his complete being, in the place of the universe, and actually have faith in God and believe his word, you will see things change in your life. Like, for real. I'm a walking testimony. Like, literally, I'm a walking testimony. What has God not done for me? Not me preaching to myself right now. He has done everything for me, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I was given the opportunity. People have been being let go left and right at my job, but somehow God has still sustained me in this job. At the end of the day, I really can't do anything without him, and that's a reality that I need to accept, that I can't do anything without God. He has been so faithful to me, even in my unbelief, even in my doubt, even in my sinfulness. God has been good to me, and honestly, I can't take the credit for that. I didn't get that job. God got me that job. 1,500 applications, 100 interviews, almost 2 years. I got my job in April. Almost 2 years of looking for a job. I think at this point, I'm pretty much rambling. I don't think I really have much to say. God really blessed me with my dream job. Like, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it right now. That is it. That is my job testimony. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I just wanted to give you guys the full picture so that you guys know that faith works. God is real, and faith really works. Having faith in God, believing his word, reading it, walking by his word, abiding by it, living your life in accordance to what he wants, literally is the way forward. And honestly, follow God and your life will change. And I hope that your life changes for the better. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you, and God bless.